Ik wil net vir julle iets lees wat ek neergeskryf het. Dis 'n droom wat ek gehad het op die 20ste April 2013. Maar ek het die droom neergeskrywe op die 23ste April 2013. Die rede waarom ek die droom neergeskryf het, ek het nie geweet ek gaan julle vandag meet nie. Maar omdat ek seunskinders het en kinders het ek die droom neergeskrywe, want vir my was dit belangrik geweest as ek met die dag hier is, dat my kinders moet weet wat die droom was. Want vir my was dit 'n baie belangrike droom geweest. Ek gaan lees en dan gaan ek die droom explain inshallah. Ek en Sadan het die laaste jaar of 2 gedroom van 'n kramat in die berg in Ceres. Dat my oupa Abu Bakr Siddiq Sadan vir my gesê het ons afstammeling is van die Sheikh wat in die berg bly en dat hy daar bly en begrawe is. Ek het dit in die droom gebetwyfel, maar niks vir my oupa gesê nie. Byvoorbeeld ek het 'n droom gehad, ek het nou dit gedroom, ek het getwyfel van die droom, maar ek het nou niks, ek het getwyfel in die droom. Ek het aan mekaar dieselfde droom gehad en het nie geweet wat dit beteken nie. Ek het die laaste week baie gedroom oor die Sheikh in die berg waarvan ons afstammeling is. Ek droom ek en my oupa stap op in die berg om die Sheikh te ontmoet, want hy bly daar en daar word gesê ons is sy afstammeling. Maar ek dink volgens my navorsing maak dit nie sin nie. Onthou daai tyd van my lewe doen ek reeds navorsing, toe maak dit nie vir my sin nie. Maar bly stil. En my oupa grootjie tyd ook in die droom en gesê ons is afstammeling. Ek het gedroom ons loop op en ek sê dit nie, ek dink vir myself, ag, ons kan nie familie wees van die Sheikh nie. En toe draai my oupa om en my oupa kyk vir my en hy kan typ, dis 'n droom wat ek het en hy sê vir typ, sê tog vir hom, ons is van familie van die Sheikh. Toe sê typ Sadan, ons is familie van die Sheikh. Ek vertel die droom aan Boeta Hassan. Boeta Hassan is 'n Somali Sheikh. Hy's 'n verskriklike slim Somali Sheikh. Hy's ingetroud saam met ons family. Ek vertel toe die droom vir Boeta Hassan en hy sê die droom beteken iets. Hy het my gehelp om family scrolls te vertaal, want bewys ons afstammeling is van Sayyidina Ali radhiyallahu an. En die scrolls laat my baie droom. Aan elke keer as die scrolls so deur die scrolls gaan, dan ek het baie drome gehad, so verskriklik baie drome. Op Saterdag 20 April 2013 kry ek weer 'n droom. En my oupa sê die naam van die Sheikh is Sulaiman en wys my die naam. My droom was soos die gewees. My liggaam het hier gestaan, maar my kop was daar by die kramat gewees. En my oupa sê vir my, jy moet onthou die naam. Die naam is Sheikh Sulaiman. Ons was toe op Gadijah en ek het gesê Sheikh in die berg, wat beteken die droom? Want in daardie droom het ek gevoel gehad, sy naam was dalk Sulaiman is, maar my oupa sy naam gewys. Sondag 21 April 2013 bel ek van die Nouri Adams. Sy was afstammeling van my oupa grootjie Typ Sadan, sy oudste broer Sulaiman Jouni. Sy afstammeling gaan onder die naam van Slamang. Ons praat hieroor en daaroor en sy vertel aan my dat ons afstammeling van Sheikh Sulaiman in Bainskloof is. Dat hy die original Slamang, so sy praat op van 'n Slamang point of view. Sy sê vir dat hy die original Slamang is. Maar sy wil nie praat hieroor want sy het nie proef daarvan nie. Ek het geskrik om te hoor want dit was my droom gewees. Ek het onthou se Salma Jacob nie Sadan en aan die Kalto Sadan, my oupa se susters, my pa se aunties, ook genoem het van Sheikh, ons voorvader van ons, van die Sheikh Sulaiman. Ek was vandag, dat is maar net 'n journal wat ek gehou het so. Ek het die droom gehad van Sheikh Sulaiman, maar soos die jare ons aangegaan het, ek ons begin vergiet wat se Salma hulle gesê het en so aan te. So ek het net gevoel, ek wil maar net sê, dit is 'n droom wat ek gehad het. En ja, alhamdulillah. Ek soek gou my notas. Ek het ook nog 'n droom gehad. Boeta Hassan vertaal vir my die scrolls. Ek vertel maar net vir julle so 'n bietjie wat ek gehad het. En die naam op die scroll skryf ek soos jy nou so gaan skryf. Jy skryf dit so. Ek verstaan toe nog nie die scrolls maak nie vir my sin nie. En ek droom een aan, ek kom so uit 'n oval shape ding uit. Ek droom ek kom daai gestap en almal die kabbers wys na my toe. En toe ek omdraai, toe sien ek die name wat ek glad vertaal het is so afgeskrywe. En ek skrik in die middel van die nag wakker. En ek begin skryf die name so horisontaal af. En eers so ek die name horisontaal afskrywe, toe besef ek, toe weet ek hoe die scrolls werk. Julle het mos die scrolls, baie van julle het die scrolls. Van die family members, het hulle die scrolls? Het jy hande oplig wie die scrolls het? Ek het dit aangestuur. Ok, inshallah. Ons sal as vir julle aanstuur, inshallah. Maar anyway, die scrolls proef eintlik dat ons as afstammeling van Sheikh Ahmad Al-Kabir Al-Rifai af. Ja. So dan die volgende is, ek wil net verduidelik hoe elkeen pas in die family in. Wie is groen team? Lag gou ja, nou wie is groen team? Okay. Almal wat Sheikh Sulaiman het 3 seuns gehad. Dit was Imam Sadan Sulaiman gewees, dit was Abdullah Sulaiman gewees en dit was Imam Mahmoud Sulaiman gewees. Nou Imam Sadan Sulaiman het heel wat kinders gehad, maar ek gaan net fokus op 2 kinders. Want daar is net 2 se afstammeling hier wat ek nou almal sinne gaan. So die een seun was Imam Mahmoud Sadan gewees. En Imam Mahmoud Sadan het heel wat kinders gehad. Dit was Typ Sadan gewees, my oupa grootjie. Dit was Gafsa Fakir gewees. Dit was Jainab Isaacs gewees, dit was Sulaiman Sadan gewees. En dit was Imam Muhammad Said gewees. En die Fadila sê hierso, ek het haar gesien. En die Fadila nie. Maar anyway, daai was die kinders van Imam Sadan Sulaiman af. En die volgende seun was Imam Abdullah gewees. Geel team. Sê gou julle hande op. Gaan voor ek verder gaan. Imam Sadan Sulaiman se kinders. We have Sheikh Sulaiman first. Then you have Imam Sadan Sulaiman, his son. Then you have Imam Muhammad Sadan, his son. And then you have Sulaiman Sadan, your grandfather. and type in all the others. So and I hope you understand now, inshallah. Field team. You come from the twin brother of Imam Sadan Sulaiman's brother Abdullah Sulaiman. So yours, julle is baie maklik. Because julle weet julle kom van Imam Mahmoud af van Stegman Road, hè? So dit was Sheikh Sulaiman gewees, dit was Imam Abdullah gewees, en dit was Imam Mahmoud gewees van Stegman Road. So daarvan dan weet hulle almal hoe die stamlyn werk. Ja? Inshallah. Dan Imam Mahmoud. Hulle is rooi team. Wat ons van weet, die twee kinders gaan hulle meer gaan, maar ons gaan net fokus op twee. Dit was Khatib Ahmad Slamang gewees en dit was Maria Mahmoud gewees. Nou Khatib Ahmad se seun was Ismail Slamang, Tata. Was Tata se stamlyn? As Khatib Ahmad en is Tata. Weet nou hoe dit werk? En dan het Imam Mahmoud het 'n dogter gehad, haar naam was Mariam. Sy was eintlik bekend as Mariam bin Mahmoud. So kan hulle gou hulle hande opsteek, die Mosa clan. So Sheikh Sulaiman as Imam Mahmoud Sulaiman en die dogter Mariam. En daarvan aan weet almal hoe die stamlyn werk. En daarvan aan kan almal kyk hoe wie is first cousins, wie is second cousins en wie is third cousins. So mense vat nou vir Maria Mahmoud, 'n mens vat vir Khatib Ahmad en 'n mens vat vir Imam Mahmoud Sadan van Worcester, dat was hulle first cousins. En as jy mens daarvan aan verder vat van Sheikh Sadan Sulaiman Sadan en Tata se kinders en Mariam se kinders daarvan aan raak hulle second cousins. So almal weet hoe die second cousins werk. As almal op 3. Inshallah. Dan wil ek nog vir julle nog een laaste ding sê. Ek het 2 seuns. Toe my eerste seun gebore is, toe gee ek sy naam Abu Bakr. En toe sê my oom Sulaiman, toe dink ek wat ek in latere jare vertel, toe dink ek myself, nee, dit was 'n coincidence gewees. En toe my tweede seun gebore is, toe gee ek sy naam Umar. Toe sê nee, dit was nou nie by toeval gewees nie. En een aand, toe ons van die Gadat afkom, toe sê my oom vir my Sulaiman, hy wil iets vir my sê. Toe sê hy, toe my eerste seun se naam Abu Bakr is, toe dink jy nee, dit was maar by toeval gewees. Maar toe my tweede seun se naam Umar, sê nee man, nou is hy compelled om vir my die storie te sê. Maar nou is ek nou ook nog confused, wat Sulaiman nou vir my nou wil sê. My oom sê, dat sy pa vir hom gesê, dat sy pa wat sy pa gehoor het, dat die Seids, het hulle kom baie visit in die Kaap, die Alawi Sayyids. En dan het die Alawi Sayyids, een van die trips wat hulle gemaak het, was het hulle gemaak Worcester toe. Nou van die Sadans van Worcester, hoekom hulle so gesketterd is, daar was 'n bietjie probleme in die family gewees. En die probleme was gewees, wie moet imam wees, wie moet kontrole het van die masjied, wie moet leiding neem. En omdat die family baie gesketterd was, toe het die Sayyid deurgekom om eintlik die probleem wat in Worcester is op te los. Maar die broers het problems gehad en die sisters het problems gehad, because die sister van die broer se part en die ander sister van die ander broer se part, het so dit gegaan. En die Sayyid kry hulle in die kamer en die Sayyid sê vir hulle, hy het die vorige aand het hy 'n droom gehad. En die droom wat hy gehad het, dat een van hulle gaan 'n seun hê. En wat ook al probleem hulle het, hy seun gaan vir hulle weer by mekaar bring. En hy sê die volgende, hy sê, maar nie een van julle gaan lewe om dit te sien nie. En toe hy nou dit vir hulle sê, en toe slag het vir hulle bingo, toe hulle nou nie meer vra om te vra nie. En toe hy 3-4 dae terug gaan Saudi toe. Jy weet, hy het hulle mos klein pleins gehad wat hulle my vertel het. dat die pilot was voor en die passenger was agter gesit. Was 'n two-man plane geweest. En die sy het nou weer teruggaan en op die airport toe stry die broers weer. Maar wat gaan die naam wees? Hy het die naam gesê, nie sê nee, maar hy kan sê die eerste Khalifa. Die naam van die eerste Khalifa. Die ander sê nee, dat gaan die naam van die tweede Khalifa wees. En so het hulle stryery onder mekaar. Die een sê Abu Bakr, die een sê Umar. En in daai tyd toe het al die Sadans het die naam begin gee, Abu Bakr en Umar. En dis hoekom my oupa se naam was Abu Bakr. Maar toe Sulaiman nou my oom Sulaiman nou weet, dis ek toe stuur ek my nie baie daaraan nie. En so is tyd nou aangaan. Toe meeting was baie van julle gemeet. Ek het die Slamangs gemeet van Imam Mahmoud Sulaiman. Ek het Fatata gemeet, sy afstammeling. Ek het my eers Sadan family gemeet. Alhamdulillah, ek dink dit is ons derde of tweede bijeenkoms. En toe dink ek vir myself, die Arabe het mos 'n tradisie. Hulle tradisie is dat jou naam is mos die naam van jou oudste seun. So met ander woorde, as jou oudste seun se naam Ammar is, dat jy Abu Ammar. Dis mos hoe die tradisie van die Arabe is. Nou my oudste seun se naam is Abu Bakr. So ek is Abu Bakr. Ek prys nie myself nie. Maar al wat ek probeer sê, die situasie soos nou kon nie beter gewees het as nou nie. So dis hoekom ek voel, miskien hulle van my gepraat. So inshallah, as julle nie verstaan het, julle kan later vra. Ek gaan nou die volgende baie speakers kon het ook nie gemaak het nie. So ek gaan vir Auntie Shamila Ghani vra om te kom inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll just introduce because Sali is my eldest cousin and I think I must honor him in that way. I've just briefed him. Okay, he's the youngest cousin, right? That's what he...
There's one older than me, he's not present, unfortunately.
So, we are the descendants of Imam Mahmoud and our great-great-grandfather, but Sali will go into it. I'll just open it up for him because sometime, a few years ago, his wife also had a dream, so he wants to tell you about that. Okay, shukran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana li hada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi an'ama alayna bil iman wal islam. Alhamdulillah alladhi hamdan kathira lillahi asma'ul husna. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. They're putting me on the spot here because I've got nothing prepared, right? And she can't even give me any information, but I'll just give you snippets of what I can remember. I'm one of the, although she says I'm the oldest, there is older than me, but they couldn't be here, unfortunately. And you people are lucky because you wouldn't have had enough space if all of them came along. We are 8 siblings. I'm the only survivor of the 8. The last one I lost about 5 months ago, my one sister. We were 5 girls and 3 boys. Of which Iksan is the eldest. Where's it? There at the back. I call him my uncle because he's more grayer than the He knows because I call him my uncle. Any case. To cut a long story short, I've got my grandfather's name. His name was Salim Musa. So I'm from the Musa clan myself, and Shamila, and then Ifsan, and then my 3 daughters there, and then daughter, 2 sons and daughters. That's the only ones that could make it. The one left from the Kabristan already, back home, and he was the son of the eldest of the cousins. Yasin, but he couldn't be present, unfortunately. I wasn't going to come, but fortunately, you changed the date because I believe for Umrah to greet you people as family members. show on the 20th. And that would have been the 16th, just the weekend before we leave. So, as Allah wants us, here I am. It's been actually pushed back. Myself, my three daughters are here, but two of them are taking me and my wife around. Alhamdulillah. Right? To cut a long story short, what can I say about my grandfather that I remember? Because I was very young when he passed away. I can't even remember how old I was. I was born in 1947 and he must have passed away early 50s. I can't even tell you what date. Right? He had three sons. My father was Ismail. Her father was Musa. Musa squared, in other words. And it was Hakim that was already passed on by the time I was born. So he had two sons, Ishaq and Ibrahim, and then they were an army of girls, and one brother, Ismail, but he's in Johannesburg, unfortunately, so you also couldn't be present. That's the makeup of our family. Right? She can explain further if she wants to, but that's as much as I can remember. The other thing is there was, through the research that they did, we found a picture, but I knew about it because having been in the tourism industry and taking people around, I had a delegation here from Malaysia years ago. I can't even remember, I think 2003, maybe 20 years ago. That actually came to, believe you me, to find out why the Malayo language died in South Africa. That was the research they came to do. They were from Utara University, Malaysia. There were about 8 people from the language department, with the Imam as well, and one of the lady lecturers. But that's another story on its own, but just to fill you in how this came about. Lastly, I want to commend the person that had the dream, right? Believe, yeah, the picture, okay. The picture that we actually seen was my grandfather teaching people how to handle 6 horses and more, the carriages, because he, well, like I heard from the family, you know, passing on what we call, wasn't written down, it was oral history, in other words. I couldn't get to the name, sorry. Nervousness, you know. I'm not used to speaking in public. So, they had a transport company. You're going to laugh at this because it was called the Harbour Board. It was the early years of the African Railway and Harbour. And they did some transportation by contracting, by car, horse and car. So that was the picture where he taught people how to control 6 and more horses, those who drove the carriages, you know, wagons and so on and so on. The other last thing I want to mention is ironic that somebody mentioned that they had a dream. Now, for the past 40 years, almost 40 years, I belong to a Jama, a bigger Jama, right? And funny enough, there was 2 people that remind me of the Bayat. Their name was Bayat. So I was wondering if that's the same, just the difference of the H and the B. Bayat and Hayat. But the 2 were also from Worcester. And they were retired. Ahmad Hayat. Many years ago, they were older teachers, so I was just wondering if it's from the same people who know the residents of Worcester. Maybe a connection there. The other thing is that I wanted to mention that my wife dreamt, because we normally used to go to the Karamats, not this one, but other Karamats right around the Western Cape during Ramadan, because we used to make dhikr on a Saturday, every Saturday without fail. But then during the Ramadan, we used to go on a Sunday, visiting various Karamats right around Cape Town, Simonstown, you name it, Buckleven, and up in the mountains in what's it called there?
Geyser Park.
Geyser Park and what's the others further up? I can't even remember anymore, but I know where they are. Any case, further up this, you know, right? Yeah, the gentleman knows, Mr. Safik Morton, by the way. Thank you for attending, sir. We feel honored. Any case, well, that's what I wanted to say. Is ironic that we in the lineage of the Kramat, and she couldn't explain to me what happened, but she said the Kramat asked her the question of why are they all coming to the Kramats in the Boerkaap and in Kempsbay, but when are they coming to me? And I can't in all honesty say that it was a Kramat or whether it wasn't, because I wasn't the one who dreamt it. It was my wife here, the one with the red jacket, my girlfriend.
Sally,
My wife is at
he
home.
actually took my hand and said, come, let me lead you. Before I did.
Okay, thank you. That's enough. She can take over.
I'll just briefly explain. I think Uncle Sali left out that our lineage is like Enver showed on the chart. From Imam Mahmoud and his daughter Siti Mariam, and from there it is then she married Haji Musa, who was an Imam. They lived at 86 Kapini Street for all the years. My dad was born in that house, his father was born in that house, and even one of the grandchildren was born in the same house. And so we actually, my grandfather is then the son of Siti Mariam, that is Salih Musa, and then my father and Salih's father, the other children are. So we are fifth generation. Shukran. That's all. I know it's taking up a lot of time, so I'm going to end it there. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Shukran, Shamila. Our final speaker will be Shaykh Morton, inshallah. He will have very interesting information to tell us, inshallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ashabi wa baraka salim. Assalamu alaikum. It's actually, it's a great honor and it's very humbling to be here with everybody, with the descendants of Sheikh Sulaiman Arifai, to give him something of his full titles. Family is always good, and I have this feeling that Sayyid Sulaiman, as I call him, would be very happy today to see his family gathered here, trying to find out who we are and where we came from. I think at this stage what you need to do is you need to give Enver a round of applause for the work that he's been doing over the years. There's a story as to how we met, because at the moment I'm busy writing a book on the Kramats at the Cape. There are over 40. In fact, there's much more. We can only focus on the big ones. And interestingly, for about the last 6 months, I've been stuck on Sayyid Sulaiman via Enver and finding out things about somebody whom most people in Cape Town don't know anything. I'm going to give you a story now to indicate the status, who I think Sayyid Sulaiman actually was and is today. During this week, there was a very obnoxious character who was starting to attack Enver and asking him, how do we know that Sayyid Sulaiman is a wali, is a friend of Allah, a person whom we would regard as a saint? And this person, I personally think, was rude. I'm not going to say who the person was. We don't do that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you a story. Sayyid Sulaiman is a Sayyid. He is a descendant of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he also happens to hail from the Rifai family. Now the scrolls or the sanad that has been spoken about, I can assure you, it's 100% genuine. Sahih, as they say in the classics. It's genuine and it's authentic. And people questioning it is absolutely silly. Now, Sayyid Sulaiman was a man of great courage and bravery. In around about 1803, 1804, he stood up to the Wahhabis in Makkah and Medina. Now, the Wahhabis had invaded the Hijaz, and what they were doing at the time, they were destroying the graveyards, Janatul Mu'ala, Janatul Baqi, they were destroying the domes, they even tried to destroy the dome in Medina. Now, Sayyid Sulaiman stood up to the Wahhabis and he said, no, you stop here. For his troubles, he had to leave Makkah, we believe, in a hurry with his family group. And as we know, it's a long journey. He ended up in Muscat. He then went, I believe, to India, to a place called Goa, which was controlled by the Portuguese. He then had to go to Indonesia, to Banten, where again he faces the English, who do away with the Sultanate, and then he comes to Cape Town. So he's done a lot already, hasn't he? Apart from all the teaching that he did in the Western Cape. Sayyid Muhammad Alawi al-Maliki, who was my grand sheikh, is also a Sayyid. He also fought the Wahhabis during his lifetime, which was very recently. Sayyid Muhammad died in 2004 during Ramadan, and he's buried in Janatul Mu'ala outside Makkah. The Saudis have opened his grave 4 times since 2004 to put another body in his grave, and guess what they found? That Sayyid Muhammad is as fresh as the day he died. And I challenge this person who is questioning Anwar to dig into the grave where Sayyid Sulaiman lies. You dig, what will you find? I will leave that as an open question. I'm telling you this story because if people come to you and start questioning you about your roots and trying to be jealous, because remember one thing, if you come from something good, people are always going to try and say something bad about you, and you have to be strong to be able to counter it. One or two other things that I've discovered about Sayyid Sulaiman, and of course the person who's done all the hard work is Enver, standing over there. It's incredible. I'm hearing about so many dreams about Sayyid Sulaiman. My wife also had a dream about him. Before I was going to go and visit him to do research, she didn't know who he was. And I will tell it to you, there were 3 figures, sort of misty. They had their long robes, their turbans, very shy, very demure. And by the way, the behavior of the Sayyids is shyness, because the Prophet ﷺ himself was very shy, was very modest. And the one person kind of turned and they were talking quietly and they kept on saying, Sulaiman, Sulaiman, Sulaiman. Then I hear today about the other dream, Sulaiman taking you by your hand and saying, why don't you visit me as well? So it's all coming together. And it's strange because for 40 years I've been wondering who on earth is this wali who I used to visit on Bainskloof. As I say, it's coming together. The legacy of Sayyid Sulaiman, I do not think, even today, is fully appreciated by the larger community in Cape Town. And the responsibility that I have in writing this book is to right the wrongs, if there are any wrongs, but I think to establish once and for all the legacy of one of the Cape's finest sons. I think the reason he hasn't become as famous as some of the other awliya is because he was a modest man. He was a shy man. And his focus wasn't to become a groot crocodile in charge of a mosque or something. Very quietly, he focused on spreading the deen and on educating people, particularly his own family and his sons. Look at the thing, how many imams come out of this family? It's amazing, it's absolutely amazing. But nobody has seen this. Fortunately, I'm hoping in the book, obviously I can't say everything, to at least make the wider public aware of the fact that here's somebody we truly have to be proud of. I'm convinced that Sayyid Sulaiman, as I call him, is a wali, he is a friend of Allah, and he is somebody worth of being honored. I'm going to leave it there. I think you need to think about very quickly the journey that he took to the Cape, and the fact that I don't think there would have been Islam in Worcester, and in fact any of the country areas, if it hadn't have been for the Sadan and Sulaiman families, because the establishment of the mosque in Worcester, I think historically, was a very, very important point of our history. I'd like to thank you for listening to me so patiently. I apologize that I have to leave almost immediately. There's a family engagement, and if you miss family engagements, you're always in trouble. But I could not miss the honor of talking here today. So thank you very much. It's been a great privilege. I'm the one that's been humbled. Shukran jazila. Thank you.
Shukran to the Shafiq, and shukran to everybody that came out. Shukran to all the families. Is there any questions? Anybody that want to ask a question? Any questions? Anybody that want to say something? Hussein, wat jy iets sê? Nobody want to say anything? Buta Sali, iets sê? Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Normally we start off by saying ladies and gentlemen, but it's indeed an honor and privilege for me to say familielede, niggies en neefies, aunties and uncles, omas and opas, very dear and near to me, faces that I've seen already in the past. We've just passed each other, but we never knew each other. Faces that we have now seen today for the first time, and now we know, as ons nou weer verby u stap in Worcester Mall of in Constantia Mall of Maynard Mall in Wynberg or wherever it is, then at least we know, hier is daarom 'n takkie wat van dieselfde boom afkom. Right? Die appel val nie ver van die boom af nie, and like I said to Enver this morning, as ek so kyk na my familie, dan is ek regtig waar trots om te kan sê dat die appel val regtig nie ver van die boom af nie. Ons is almal uitgedruk uit een drukkertjie. So you can see the resemblance, mashallah, whether you are from the Sadan family or the Sulaiman family or the Sulaiman family. En moet jy laat ek verder gaan nie, because then with the Shafiq, then I'm also going to be in trouble, because dan is 'n sekere familie uitgelaat en uitgelos, and that is not the intention. But indeed a great honor and a privilege for me. It is the first time that I am being present in one of these gatherings, and I hope it's not going to be the last time. And shukran jazilan to Enver for work well done. And Haji Shafiq, I haven't spoken to you about it, but I heard along the corridors in the grapevine that you are doing exemplary and fantastic work for our family. And in the name of your late wife also, may Allah Ta'ala grant her elevated place in Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. And just so all our forefathers, all our forebears, may we take this opportunity to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to favor them, ask Allah ta'ala to overlook their shortcomings, ask Allah ta'ala to forgive them, and ask Allah ta'ala to accept all their sacrifices and all their du'as that they have made for us, that we can also say quite proudly, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa akhiru da'wahum, and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Anybody want to say anything? So we have finished. finish now, inshallah. And pluck for licking cherries, inshallah. And enjoy the rest of the day with the families, inshallah.
You must say before everybody leaves, you want a family picture. Oh, yes.
Wait. A photo, a groot family photo, kanala. Inshallah. Let me just take a photo, inshallah.
Allah